In the rugged hills of early 19th century America, where pioneers carved out lives from dense forests, lived a hard-working lumberjack named Jack Harlan. Jack was a simple man in his late 20s, tall and broad-shouldered from years of swinging an axe. He lived in a small log cabin on the edge of the wilderness with his wife, Mary, and their two young children, little Emma and Tommy. Every day, Jack ventured deep into the woods to chop timber, which he hauled back to the nearby mill town to sell. The pay was meager, barely enough to keep food on the table and the roof over their heads. Winters were harsh, and summers brought endless toil, but Jack never complained. He believed in honest work and trusted that Providence would provide. One crisp autumn morning, Jack set out earlier than usual. The leaves were turning gold and red, and the air carried the promise of frost. He needed extra wood to stockpile for the coming cold months. Deep in the forest, near a sparkling clear lake fed by mountain streams, Jack found a cluster of sturdy oaks. He swung his faithful iron axe with practiced rhythm, the blade biting deep into the wood. Sweat beaded on his brow despite the chill. As he worked, his axe slipped from his grip, perhaps from fatigue or a slick handle, and plunged into the deep waters of the lake with a heavy splash. Jack stared in dismay. That axe was his livelihood. Without it, he could not work. He had no money to buy another. Kneeling by the shore, he prayed silently for help, his heart heavy with worry for his family. Suddenly, the water rippled, and a shimmering figure rose from the depths. It was a beautiful spirit of the lake, her form made of flowing water and light, with hair like cascading silver streams. Her voice was gentle like wind through pines. "Why do you weep, honest woodcutter?" she asked. Jack explained his misfortune. "My axe has fallen into your lake, good spirit. It is old and plain, but it is all I have to feed my wife and children." The spirit nodded and disappeared beneath the surface. Moments later, she reappeared holding a gleaming silver axe. "Is this the one you lost?" she inquired. Jack shook his head. "No, ma'am. Mine was only iron, nothing so fine." The spirit smiled and vanished again. This time she returned with an axe of pure gold, its head shining brilliantly in the sunlight. "Perhaps this is yours?" Again Jack refused. "No, that cannot be mine. I speak the truth. My axe was simple iron." Impressed by his honesty, the spirit's eyes sparkled. "You are a rare man, Jack Harlan. In a world where many would claim what is not theirs, you speak only truth." She dove once more and brought forth his old iron axe, its edge still sharp despite years of use. "Here is your own," she said, placing it in his hands. Then to his astonishment, she offered him both the silver and golden axes. "Take these as well, for your integrity deserves reward. Use them wisely." Jack was overwhelmed. He thanked the spirit profusely and carried all three axes home, his heart pounding with gratitude and disbelief. That evening, he told Mary everything. She listened in wonder, tears in her eyes. "What shall we do with such treasure?" she asked. Jack thought carefully. "The iron axe will serve me as always. The silver one we can sell to buy what we need, warm clothes for the children, seed for next spring, perhaps even a cow for milk. But the golden axe, it is too much for us alone." The next day, Jack took the silver axe to the mill town. The blacksmith who bought it was stunned by its purity and paid him handsomely, enough to clear their debts, buy supplies, and even repair their leaky cabin roof. Word spread quickly about the lucky lumberjack, but Jack remained humble, crediting his good fortune to honesty. As winter approached, Jack continued his work with the iron axe, but he began using his newfound means for good. He helped neighbors whose roofs had collapsed under snow, shared firewood with widows, and donated to the small church that served the community. The golden axe he kept hidden, unsure of its purpose, but he vowed never to let wealth change his character. One harsh February night, a fierce blizzard swept through the hills. The town schoolhouse caught fire from an overturned lantern, and the wooden building burned fiercely. Families huddled in the cold as flames devoured their children's place of learning. Jack, hearing the alarm, rushed out into the storm. Remembering the golden axe, he retrieved it from its hiding place. At the town square where people gathered in despair, Jack stepped forward. "This axe is made of gold," he announced. "It is worth more than any of us can imagine. Let us melt it down and use the gold to rebuild the school, bigger and better, so our children may learn in warmth and safety." The townsfolk were speechless. No one had expected such generosity. The blacksmith agreed to oversee the melting, and soon the golden axe was transformed into coins and bars that funded not only a new school but also books, slates, and even a teacher's salary for years to come. Spring arrived, and the new school rose proudly on the hill. Children laughed and learned it, their futures brighter because of one man's kindness. Jack returned to his simple life, chopping wood with his iron axe, but now the community looked upon him with deep respect. He never sought fame or more riches. He simply lived by the values he held dear. Years later, when Jack grew old and his children had families of their own, he would sit by the lake on quiet evenings and remember the Spirit's gift. He taught his grandchildren the same lesson he had lived. Honesty and generosity are the true treasures of life. Wealth may come and go, but a good heart endures. And so in the American frontier, the story of the honest lumberjack spread like wildfire, proof that integrity, hard work, and helping others could turn even the simplest life into one of lasting richness.